A lot of people have been asking about this driver that has been in my bag in this Next 100 series. And today, guys, we're going to talk about how I've made a makeshift mini driver with the Takomo club, but what you might need to change if you was to do this at home. So we have the Ignis D1 driver. Normally it would come at around about a 45-inch shaft, but we have a 3-wood shaft in this club. If we change that, and there's a lot of people out there who think maybe I've got a 3-wood shaft that I can put into my current driver, we need to think about a certain few things that's going to affect how that ball travels down the simulator here. But normally on the fantastic golf courses we are playing at, and today we are at the Ritz-Carlton on the Emergency Florida Swing. And that is why I'm in here, because it's currently freezing outside. The course is closed. But how will this driver perform? Certainly not like one of the shots that I've hit outside. But when we're talking about, obviously, mini drivers, we know there's a lot out on the range from other brands now. We know Callaway, TaylorMade, PXG, and rumours of other companies bringing more out. This is the Takomo version. Because it has a shorter shaft, but I now have a full-size head, because a lot of people question, why do you not, or why should you have a mini driver? Because the head's smaller and I don't feel as confident behind that, so why would I bother? Well, here we've got a happy medium. So we've got the full-size driver head, but we've got a shorter shaft. The shorter shaft for me has allowed me to get more centered strikes than if I have a full-length driver, because we're a little bit closer to the ball, and we know if I was to give you a pitching wedge and then give you a driver, I would say that 99% of you behind the camera would say you're more confident with a pitching wedge, and that's because of the length of that club. So the closer we are to the golf ball, it's easier for us to stay in balance, and then from there, as a result, it's easier to find that part of the club face right there, which is what we all dream of, probably more regular than we actually do. But what do we need to change with the head? So if I go shorter in the shaft, we need to think about the weight that is on the bottom of this Ignis driver. You'll see there a nice towering shot and a familiar sound that you've heard very much out on the golf course. A lot of people have referred to it as the cowbell, which we've now named it pretty much. But you see there, 250 carry, 265, not a perfect strike. That's because I've changed the weight in the back. I put it to what originally was in there, which was a 15-gram weight. So if we start to get a shorter in the shaft, we need to think about that head weight. So we're going to make the head a little bit heavier. And when we get Takomo products, we often get these in there. So we can start to change the weighting on your 3-wood, on your 5-wood, even on your 7-wood, and more so with this driver, because we want to make sure that we're getting the perfect setup for you to hit the ball as far as possible with the correct amount of spin, and more importantly, past your playing partners, just like this has been going past Mr. James Robinson, who is on camera today. So we're going to change that over, hit a few more shots and show you how we can change that. So you'll see there, 3,300 spin there. So if we don't get the perfect weight in here, the spin can start to jump up, and that certainly has lost distance. I would say we'd be able to get this close to 300 yards, which is probably relatively...
Are you kidding?
Well, we can only dream, which is around about between a standard driver's 280 to 300. And even with a shorter shaft with the correct weight, we should be able to get that.
It's like talking to Big Al.
It is like talking to Big Al.
So interestingly, Chris, what I find with these is a lot of people focus on kind of club head speed and how fast you can move it, when really ball speed is the answer, and to get ball speed you have to get it out the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to make sure that we're finding the centre.
It's very brave to leave that down there, by the way.
It is, I'm probably going to trip over that. But you can see also with this driver, we can obviously move the weights around. We can start to think about draw and fade bias. So you could go heavier weight, and if you're somebody who slices the ball, you might go to draw bias, or you might be the opposite. You might hook the golf ball like mid-handicap Dave, and you might go to a fade bias driver. Again, a lot of different options you can do with this driver. And like we say, the reason why we've partnered with Takomo and Seed in this series is because they're affordable but premium products. When we're getting the performance that we want to see, I've certainly drove the ball exceptionally well since making this driver. And you might say, why did I go to a 3-wood shaft? I'm not going to lie to you. It was actually a mistake. I had a shaft in here spare. I thought it was a driver shaft. I put it in there, and then we realised it was a lot shorter than it should be.
How often success stories come from something like that?
Yeah, exactly. But let's see now what we can achieve with this. Can we get it over that 280 to 300 number? Again, not the display that we've seen outside. 220 carry, going 245. So again, if we put a paw swing on it, it doesn't matter what the driver is, what weight is in there, it's still not going to go far. It could have been further left, so let's get a good golf swing on this now. So slightly better strike there. Again, starting a lot straighter. Let's see the carry. 256, going 275. So interesting, again, strike point, pretty low on the face. It has started straighter, and even then from a bad strike with the correct weight, we're under 3,000 spin. So changing that weight, even with a poor strike, normally if we hit it on the bottom of the face, we start to see it spin up. Because we've now changed that and got it into the right settings, you can see straight away we're under 3,000 spin. Let's go again. Again, a better strike there, just over 3,000, but straight down the middle. So face control has become a little bit better, and we're just under that 280 range. And the reason why I went to this in the end and why I've enjoyed it is because I was hitting a lot more fairways. So you see, throughout the last few next 100s, I've hit a lot of fairways. That's made it easier even for us to hit more greens and shoot lower scores. One more, guys. So if you're thinking about putting a 3-wood shaft in your driver, whatever current driver you have got, make sure you think about what weighting is in the bottom of this. If you've got a Takomo driver and you've got the 3-wood, you can do this, but make sure you get the right weight in the bottom so it feels and performs correctly. Gives you that confidence. Hopefully hit a few more fairways. And that's the best drive so far. 1,800 spin, which for me is exceptionally good. 276 carry, and it let us down there. But 299, you can see this can still perform with a shorter shafting, guys. You'll see this on the next 100 throughout this year. If you're enjoying the content, guys, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.